gonna begin with this video. As much as I don't even know what to say. As much as I want to make the video scripted as much as possible, I'm not. I'm not going to make this whole video scripted since I don't give me more time yet. What this means is just the Tide Pod Challenge. I've been on a hiatus for 4 years. I know it is as best as possible to not give it too much attention. However, it has come to my attention that this is jackasses that are attending the challenge. Now, this isn't the first time I see minors or teens obtaining a self-harm challenge. I've been around since the fire challenge, the cinnamon challenge, the self-cutting challenge, and I've been around since the era when the whole spray can fire challenge was around. I've been around when these dumbasses doing some dumb shit for the attention, maybe for Facebook and anything else. So when I heard about the Tide Pod Challenge, I figured, okay, are we still doing this shit? And really, I had to expect this was going to happen anytime soon. I'm not expecting this for anything else. I expect that most teens are going to go full on retard with this challenge. If you ever know it work, apparently the Tide Pod Challenge, as they call it, is supposed to be this challenge where you put a pod, the Tide Pod is made some covered by Tide, you insert it for your mouth, and then you're supposed to chew it with your teeth, and supposed to taste the liquid or maybe consume it. Well, that shit didn't really work, and you got so many reports of minors having foam in their mouths, and you got a lot of degenerates trying to prove the point. Because of this, Tide, the actual company who distributes this type of brand, had to make a PSA telling them not to eat it. And even got drones screaming that the whole Tide Pod is going to be discontinued or recalled from variety votes, even though that's a crock of bullshit. But really, that proves my point that most teens these days can never survive unless they commit some harm and put it on Facebook, possibly on social media, as in Instagram, and they had to make a complete ass of themselves to get more attention. Even YouTube to get more views for monetization. That proves my point that most teens cannot survive. Listen, I understand that I may be judgmental or narrow-minded, but you have to understand, and bear with me. You've been around for over 5 years since the entirety of the USA. You see other minors, hell preteens, put gasoline, put nail pliers all over the abdomen, then light themselves off and get stuck at the green bone. Then they have to spend 3 hours trying to kill the second degree bone. And that's not it. The cinnamon challenge just makes it more worse. Oh, the whole joking challenges, that's not new. And I don't understand why there's still people saying that you're so judgmental. These are kids having fun. You don't even know that. Well, it's not fun if it's judging a chemical brand that was meant for lingerie detergent. Then you have to spend an hour and a half going to the hospital and fuck yourself over with high medical bills to get yourself killed and get your whole abdomen pump. And you tell me I'm judgmental? Please. It's one of those things when people criticize me for being narrow-minded, but as unscripted as it is, I hardly don't give a damn. Because now some parts, some convenience stores, Walmart, some parts of Target, some parts of Walgreens, even some parts of supermarkets are locking Tide Pods behind the shelves. And literally, you still, And now, if you want to purchase Tide Pods, you have to go to the receptionist's desk, the customer service, and even the checkout to ask for Tide Pods to help you out away. And you think that's bad enough? Hell, I mean, I can understand about graffiti spray cans being up in a closed cabinet. That makes sense because, hell, most dumbasses are committing vandalism to this day. But with Tide Pods, you're really to tell me that you're gonna lock up Tide Pods just because some dumbasses are putting it in the mouths. And these are not kids in their 8, 6, or 7 years in middle school. These are full-grown 16-year-olds or maybe 18-year-olds or even adults putting these pods in their mouths. And really, the majority of the participants who even partake this challenge, either both adults or minors, it's usually the minors that take part in the challenges because if you noticed from before, a lot of minors, unfortunately, are only doing this for attention. That's only proof my point. You have to understand is that why is it that for the past 5 years, we noticed from the similar giants, from the fire giants, from before. Hell, there's even people that eating both Coke and even taking the ice bucket challenge, which might actually kill you for the long run. So why even do it? It seems to me that the majority of these teens are only doing this for attention. With YouTube being around, it's easier to them to actually do it. That's what I always feel about the YouTube community as today. It seems to me that nobody actually does creativity and originality. Instead, everyone wants to commit self-harm. You rarely even see minors really commit something originality from the get-go, and you still see them commit self-harm. And the parents are not going to do jack shit. Let's be real. If the parents will dare to solve the problem, they will become proactive. But all I see is dissectedness, negligence, and complete. And I know, and even if I wanted to blame the parents for not stop at the challenge part, I know a couple of dumbasses are gonna say they didn't know. No, they didn't know. People make mistakes. Yeah, if you knew that. Yeah, if you knew a couple of douchebags are gonna put Tide Pods in their mouths and take a huge test of the whole chemicals, you know damn well that you have to spend. But again, you can't blame the parents. It's impossible because for the past 5 years, I realized that even if you blame the parents, they don't really give a shit. Because half of the time, they knew that they are not supposed to eat it. It's not edible. But the parents don't really give a shit. It's impossible to hold account for the parents because half of the time they usually have the excuse saying that they didn't know, and that's the same excuse for all the challenges. That's the same excuse when someone marinate their entire skin with nail polish and either they put the stuff on fire to see who can actually survive the longest. And you cannot tell me that these teens are depressed. They seem to be happy to partake this. They act like little chits. And I know this because I am a minor under the age of 16. Hell, I may be 21 or 22, and I wouldn't become a little smartass to even partake the challenges. But I'm more aware that this video may not make a difference, but who gives a shit? At the end of the day, you have to agree on my point. But even if you didn't want to agree, it doesn't really matter. Teens will never survive on intelligence unless they actually want to commit self-harm for views. And a lot of these teens only do it. If they were actually depressed, they know what they're doing. But the thing is that they're only doing this for attention, for monetization. Because it's not an coincidence. The average minor commits self-harm to the point where they actually want to commit self-harm to the point where they actually want to owe that money. Because nowadays, YouTube is not about creativity anymore. It's all about clickbait. useless bullshit and honestly top 10 lists that it's not going to make a difference. Because what you have to understand from the point is that you cannot convince minors who want to become an amateur shadists to the point where they actually don't give a shit. A lot of teens in the USA don't really give a shit about the consequences. That's why I always feel I don't believe in teens. Now, I will admit some teens are kind of serious, some teens are kind of serialized, but this is a 50-50 ratio. Sometimes there are only teens that only focus more about being serialized, and sometimes you got teens that act like jackasses. Again, I admit nobody's really perfect, but come on. This is the same shit that happens with the ice bucket challenge when some son of a bitch dies for putting cold water in her head. And it still happens. And then you have the fire challenge, with, as again, people are putting themselves in frames. They may say that spontaneous human consumption is maybe a thing, but I see, well, shit. And now you have the cotton challenge, where you have teens either they committed self-harm using a razor blade and have the audacity to put it on Facebook, not only damn well that everyone could just see it. If you're going to become edgy, don't just say that shit around. You could just make your post private. But again, teens are usually the ones that have the tendencies to act like jackasses, and it's common. Again, whether you want to agree about my argument or don't give my argument, I could hardly give a shit, because honestly, I can tell that teens are going to do the dumbest shit possible. Why? Attention, monetization, currency. People will pay. For every 10 thousands of views it has on that video, the person's going to get paid regardless of what they did damage to the body. People don't really give a shit about concerns. Why? Because who gives a shit? I mean, I'm still confused into why. Because ever since people are partaking in the Thai part challenges, a lot of superstores, a lot of convenience stores, such as big name brands, such as Target or Walmart, are lucky Thai bars behind a closet around a gated component. And that's pretty much ridiculous, because you shouldn't even lock Thai bars. People still use Thai bars as laundry, even though official Twitter account even claims that they were never discontinued. It's not true that they're gonna recall it. I doubt it. But the thing is that you can't just lock it. A lot of people are pissed that you have to ask the receptionist to unlock the shelves. And you shouldn't ask for Thai pods. You should just buy one checker, and just leave the store as he says 1, 2, 3. But no, because so many dumbasses want it. And to all the stores, if you're watching this, to all the stores that be like Thai pods in a gated shelf component, stop it. I say, if teens want to become dumbasses, you have to be. Because ever since teens partaking in fun challenges, you never saw lighters. You never saw gasoline being locked behind the commode. It was gasoline. You could go to any gas station and you could see gasoline on the shelves, wide open for the public domain. But why does Thai pods have to be locked? That doesn't really make any sense. If teens want to commit suicide, God forbid, that brighty, let the be. That's the whole point of natural selection. Hell, that's the whole point. What 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2018 proved us that a lot of teens have no attendances in decision making. And it proves to me that teens are not capable of becoming more responsible when actually doing some research. Some are actually more responsible. I can understand that, but that's only the 50% ratio. The other 50% is for the dumbasses that want to become a total daredevil, like a pretty smart ass, to think that they can overcome all, knowing damn well that they don't have the capability to survive. And it's one of those days where you understand that, well, it's kids that want to have fun. Well, it's all fun and games until you have to drive your child 450 miles to get to the nearest hospital, and then you have to do a mostly ER. It's not simple for parents, but then again, these are the same parents that has a really bad eye at what the kids are doing. If the kid was depressed, the parents will be more responsible. Because I see this shit on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram. I had these douchebags, but that's what I have to expect. And since I've been around on social media for over 10 years in the making, and what I noticed so far is that wherever minors want to do something, the only reason they want to do is that I wanted to make a difference. There was this one video of the fire challenge when some person wanted to commit the fire challenges, and what we noticed so far is that the person was screaming their asses off. And Michael Crew is saying that, oh, it's one of those people. No, I'm not pointing fingers to a gender. No, always. I'm just focusing on the entire demographic of teens, no matter what the age, race, or gender orientated. That's not the point. The point is that these are teens, regardless of race, gender, or actual ethnicity, or actual genitals. It doesn't really matter if they have that quality. The only thing that's more important is that we have teens, regardless of age, sex, gender, or pronouns, if they call it. They still gotta be dumbasses because everyone because everyone in the 21st century is becoming more firewalls than actual leaders. And I know it's going to be corny to even say this, but bear with me. Why is it that when it comes to the new giants, there's still a lot of minors that are participating in these challenges that are do more bodily harm than good? And if people are so gasping, so shocked, don't be. You have to expect this was going to happen. Nowadays, the whole Tide Pod is becoming a meme. I mean, back in 2010, I didn't really give a shit about Tide Pods. Because whenever I do laundry, I just grab Bounty. Fucking Bounty was the shit for making your clothes more clean. And that shit makes your clothes smells so fucking nice. To the point where I still have bleach. Bleach can do a better effective job than it should. Bleach. And then and that's another thing. You see how people drinking bleach. That's the thing, because nobody takes chemicals seriously. It's now become a huge meme to the point where, holy shit, people are drinking bleach from the meme. And that's something that has to be expected. Nobody really cares about body functions or health consequences. Most teens nowadays are becoming pokey dumbasses to the point. And honestly, what can we do about it? The parents are not going to do anything, because even if you did bring the parents and actually address the problems to the parents, they're not going to give a shit. Because a lot of teens are going to commit suicide. Because they're depressed? No, because they have no willpower to survive. Most teens who want to commit self-harm have no ambition, have no motivation, don't even have the highest self-esteem. There's some that have that, granted, but you have the other percentage that don't even have that self-esteem. Most teens in this generation, in this country, in America, to be exact, have no motivation, have no self-esteem. The only reason why they even want to do this is because they either have no ambition. But even if that was the case, I still doubt that would be the case. Realities all have a shit-eating grin, smiling on top of asses, and they act like they think that's actually fun. And the adults are one to blame, but then again, the adults used to be minors that do some dumb shit. Then again, I can't blame the adults because these adults used to be teenagers that used to do dumb shit in the older times. So it's a 50 by 50 chance. Who can you blame? Who can you not blame? Well, I blame. You can't blame Tide. I highly doubt Tide has something to do with this because if minors wanted to commit self-harm, it'd be because we made charities not to commit to the fire challenge and not commit to the breach challenge and not to do the cinnamon challenge. But it's useless. There's no point. The only thing we could do as a human civilization is let people do dumb shit. It sucks. I know. It sucks we have to let teens commit self-harm and let them die. But understand, you have the chances upon chances to make the right decision to not act like
you look like Squidward.
To not act like complete jackasses. But you knew what you're doing. You just choose not to make the right decision. And people are gonna say they didn't know better. Well, that's a crock of shit. They knew. Because there are teens
with a touch of Potter.
I hate to be honest, but a lot of teens can weed. They have the ability to weed. They're not 7th graders. These are teenagers in the 11th grade. You got teenagers in 12th grade that could pass the SATs 5 times. And you're telling me that they don't even know shit. That's the biggest load of bullshit I ever heard. Because honestly, their whole age is just useless. If teenagers want to set themselves on fire, drink bleach, and go to the hospital to pay some hell medical bills, which, bear in mind, the parents have to pay $300 for taxes. Because apparently in the USA, Medicare is becoming more overpriced than before. And I know this because, honestly, if you really wanted to say that these are just kids, I doubt it. Because if you really want to save kids, be a better parent and not become more decisive. Stop being negligent and just assume that, oh, he doesn't have a rough day. No, that's something that Caucasians in the suburbs usually think. Caucasians in the cities don't really play that in New York City. There are 2 types of Caucasians, but I digress, because anyone would think that there's no regime. But who gives a shit? I can hardly give a damn if minors would really want to commit suicide. And people say that it's no way. We should let teens die. Even if they done stupid shit before, that doesn't mean we should let them die. No, nobody should die at a young age. Teenagers should live and survive. They should just actually be kids and be able to be productive adults of society. I'm going to say this once. I hardly really give a shit.
What up?
I hardly give a shit. If teens in the generation want to commit suicide, hell, back in the 90s, most kids would rather break their arms while skateboarding. We didn't really give a shit about whether the kid wants to break or twist their ankle because they have the chance to become responsible. But then again, skateboarding, and instead it was optional. But with Tide Pods, it's useless to tell parents to take care of the kids to make sure they do it responsible themselves. Because what the 21st century proves to us is that parents are not capable of doing a better job. And you can't nag them, you can't inform them, you can't tell parents to do a better job at parenting. Because honestly, it's useless. Telling parents to do a better job at parenting is more useless to tell a Wolverine not to masturbate. Hell, it's even difficult to teach a chimpanzee not to jump from the Empire State Building. The fucking chimpanzee has its testes spewing out, but instead of just taking the instead of taking the chimpanzee and putting in his grave where he can rest his spirit, a lot of millennials would rather pull out their iPhones, take a picture and put a snapshot or put it on Instagram because the gram is more important than the actual humanity. It's a scientific fact. It may not be all humanity, but it's the procedures of humanity. And that proves to me that, well, teens can never survive without attention. It could be due to the fact that they are social outcasts or social rejects or antisocial to the point. But regardless of all of these facts and hypotheses, one thing is certain, we, unfortunately, could never convince teens to not do this shit. They are not going to listen. It's impossible to tell teens to not. And I wouldn't be surprised if, and only if, teens could reenact. Because honestly, I don't really see hope for the other 50% of teens who still live in this country. Because it puts other teens at a disadvantage to the point. I never knew that because when you have the other 50% of teens that are doing dumb shit, it makes the other 50% look bad because these are other teens that try to make a difference to the point. And I'm only making this video to prove my point because honestly, I've been dissective, I've been negligent, I've been on a hiatus because I didn't want to make a video of its challenges to this day. But frankly, I have to forge my opinion on this because I've been around since 2015 when a lot of dumbers want to set us on fire. I've been around 2014 when people want to drink the whole gallon of bleach to the point where they usually just gag and vomit. Trust me, I'll be around since the majority of minors didn't really want to put anything. And you can't tell me that otherwise. Because honestly, and if you are a teen, if you're a minor who's actually doing the challenges, that's what you know. If you want to drink bleach, if you want to cut yourself, that's on you. I'm sorry, parents, but you cannot always treat it as kids. And all these are matters that are out of the age of 7 that have all the energy, have the feeling. They have brains. They just choose not to. Teens are smart, but they're not but they choose not to become smart. There's a difference becoming a smart person and a smart ass. There's a difference becoming an intellectual and a jackass. It's a 50-50 ratio, and if you are a parent that's watching this, understand the fact, I don't really care if your kid wants to jump up the Brooklyn Bridge and hits his neck underwater and dies from a huge bone breaking. Honestly, there's no point because you have teens that don't really give a shit. You can make a whole 1 hour PSA telling he's not to do this and do that instead, and instead we never listen. There's some because they're going to become defiant, arrogant, and become self-absorbed to the point where they don't really give a shit if you give it so many warnings. And it's impossible to tell teens not to do that if they're not going to choose to listen. That's where it's illusions. Because what is the whole point of telling teens not to eat Tide Pods? What's the whole point of telling kids not to do that? They're not going to listen, and teens are going to do some dumb shit for views, for the gram, for the Snapchats, and they're going to get more views for money. And frankly enough, I highly doubt that in the year of 2019 or some shit, or maybe 2020, teens are going to do some dumb shit that gives them care and momentarily, they're going to die of chemical poisoning to the point. Hell, because of the Tide Pod challenge, poison control has more cause to this day. Who gives a shit? Yes, I'm aware it's their jobs to make sure Americans are taking care of their health, but outside the fact, nobody in the 21st century is going to give a rat's ass if teens want to commit suicide by committing self-harm and dying for bias. Because if it's one thing I saw from 13 Reasons Why, teens are so gullible, they're so emotional. Not all of them, but only the 50% of the demographic. And that proves to me that sometimes, well, teens are going to be depleting because they're all sucking the job of parenting. You can't tell the parents to do a better job for over 50 times in a row. Because parents are saying that, you don't tell me how to parent, and they might respond with you that. Because that's typical, because when you tell parents to do a better job, they might become arrogant and say that, don't, you don't have the right to tell me how I'm supposed to parent. Well, if you didn't want people to tell you how to parent, what is the whole point of becoming a parent? I mean, you're the same person that has sex with another male, letting him impregnate you, doesn't give birth to a child, which 16 years later, that child you give birth to does some stupid shit that will get some killed, then you have to pay the overpriced medical bills. No, then you have to pay the overpriced funeral bills, and then you have to spend 2 days. The first day you have to spend for services, hitting some Prius, making a huge announcement. Then you have to, then after the next day, you have to drive 12 miles to go to the nearest cemetery to pay your respect, and that takes 2 days. If you didn't go to the funeral, everybody will just look at you as a douchebag, but that's life. So if you're a parent and you come to me saying that, don't tell me how to do my job. Well, if you didn't want people to do your job, then don't accept the job. You chose to become the parent. You chose to be irresponsible. You didn't care about the teens' mental state problems. It may not be the majority of it, but it's the most perceived of it, and it needs to stop. But unfortunately, with parents in this day and age, they're not going to listen. They're going to say, they're going to act soft, righteous, and they will tell you that you are not allowed to tell them how to parent. But it's kind of ironic because for what we see with the teen that commits suicide, it proves to me that the parent doesn't really know how to parent. If you didn't want me to tell you how to do your job as a parent, then actually commit to it. You're the one that made the decision to give birth to the child. And I don't really give a shit what you do in your sex life. Not my fault if you want to get pregnant. If you want to make the choice to get pregnant, give a kid, and yet them commit suicide, but yet them taking apart an entire part chance. Honestly, I don't blame you. I'm going to know parents that don't really pay too much attention with the teens' problems and their problematic issues. I'm just going to know it. But my point is that teens in this day and age will commit suicide. They will commit self-harm because I would give it the best amount of moderation. And frankly, I don't know. And that's about it. Sometimes when you are a parent, you try to do the best for your kids. But honestly, if a person comes to you saying that how come you didn't take care, don't say that. Don't tell me how to do my job as a parent. Well, tell shit because nobody would care. And to all you teens that are actually doing the challenges, here's the thing. I would care less if you want to commit suicide. God forbid. I could care less if you want to eat. Because you made the decision to act stupid. You made a decision to take part in the challenges. You knew that this might cause your demise. But you don't care. You care about getting the most monetization game of views. You could even make a video of PUBG. You could even make a video of Daisy. Come on. If you want to make more money and get more attention that badly, I stream on Twitch. I stream PUBG. Make some friends of VR chat. Yes, there's some strange sons of bitches over there, but come on. Make some friends on live chat. Make a live stream of Fortnite. Do whatever you can to get more popularity. But please, for the love of God, don't do it. But by the time you watch this video, you may not give a shit. So, I'm gonna say my piece. I had to get outside, and my Switch is coming here by this tomorrow, which means that I just lost all my save data. Fuck me leaving action, but it is what it is. Until then, hope you guys screw it up, and hope you have a best. Because honestly, with the 21st century, most teams are gonna do some shit that they're gonna do. So, have a better ultimatum, and make sure you don't screw up. By the time you watch this video, you may not kill. Let it hat, peace out, and don't be a jackass. Signing off.